We'll get this party started live on Facebook and YouTube. Check in with our arts partners on their exciting future plans. Visit with artists SciAra, LeRoy, and LaVon Williams. Enjoy a special performance by cello whizBen Sollee and master your cocktail skills as Maker's Mark's Rob Samuels and Keeneland Shannon Arvin show you how to shake it up. How's that for something to cheer about? Thank you to our 2021 pace setters, those corporations and individuals making a strong financial commitment early on who set the pace for the campaign. At the platinum level, the Murray Foundation, Toyota Motor Manufacturing in Kentucky. Visit Lex. Gold level, Baird, Central Bank, Community Trust Bank, Fifth Third Bank, Keeneland, Maker's Mark, Mount Brilliant Family Foundation, PNC Bank, Red Mile. And at the silver level, Alltech, Bluegrass Sotheby's International Realty, Becky Reinhold, Collar Properties, CHI St. Joseph Health, Davis and Ploman, Kentucky Employers Mutual Insurance, Kentucky Bank and Stockyards Bank, Solomon and Company, Valvoline, Jim Gray, Austin Mayer and Jill Hall, Madonna and Craig Turner, Dr. and Mrs. J. Sloan Warner, Jr. Thank you to our media and technology partners, WKYT, MSI Productions, Red Barn Radio. We'll get this party started live on Facebook and YouTube. Check in with our arts partners on their exciting future plans. Visit with artists SciAra, LeRoy, and LaVon Williams. Enjoy a special performance by cello whizBen Sollee and master your cocktail skills as Maker's Mark's Rob Samuels and Keeneland Shannon Arvin show you how to shake it up. How's that for something to cheer about? Thank you to our 2021 pace setters, those corporations and individuals making a strong financial commitment early on who set the pace for the campaign. At the platinum level, the Murray Foundation, Toyota Motor Manufacturing in Kentucky. Visit Lex. Gold level, Baird, Central Bank, Community Trust Bank, Fifth Third Bank, Keeneland, Maker's Mark, Mount Brilliant Family Foundation, PNC Bank, Red Mile. And at the silver level, Alltech, Bluegrass Sotheby's International Realty, Becky Reinhold, Collar Properties, CHI St. Joseph Health, Davis and Ploman, Kentucky Employers Mutual Insurance, Kentucky Bank and Stockyards Bank, Solomon and Company, Valvoline, Jim Gray, Austin Mayer and Jill Hall, Madonna and Craig Turner, Dr. and Mrs. J. Sloan Warner, Jr. Thank you to our media and technology partners, WKYT, MSI Productions, Red Barn Radio. We'll get this party started live on Facebook and YouTube. Check in with our arts partners on their exciting future plans. Visit with artists SciAra, LeRoy, and LaVon Williams. Enjoy a special performance by cello whizBen Sollee and master your cocktail skills as Maker's Mark's Rob Samuels and Keeneland Shannon Arvin show you how to shake it up. How's that for something to cheer about? Thank you to our 2021 pace setters, those corporations and individuals making a strong financial commitment early on who set the pace for the campaign. At the platinum level, the Murray Foundation, Toyota Motor Manufacturing in Kentucky. Visit Lex. Gold level, Baird, Central Bank, Community Trust Bank, Fifth Third Bank, Keeneland, Maker's Mark, Mount Brilliant Family Foundation, PNC Bank, Red Mile. And at the silver level, Alltech, Bluegrass Sotheby's International Realty, Becky Reinhold, Collar Properties, CHI St. Joseph Health, Davis and Ploman, Kentucky Employers Mutual Insurance, Kentucky Bank and Stockyards Bank, Solomon and Company, Valvoline, Jim Gray, Austin Mayer and Jill Hall, Madonna and Craig Turner, Dr. and Mrs. J. Sloan Warner, Jr. Thank you to our media and technology partners, WKYT, MSI Productions, Red Barn Radio.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome into Lex Arts Happy Hour. I'm Deanne Stevens alongside Amy Sweetall, who is the president and CEO of Lex Arts. And we're about to have some fun, right? Buckle up for the next little bit for our happy hour.
That is the plan. That is the plan. It's happy hour with the arts. You know what? Happy hour means a lot of things. What we want to do is be happy and celebrate the arts. We're going to talk about how what we do at Lex Arts is really kind of that seed. We're going to plant the seed and let arts bloom and grow again, bring us back to all the happy places that we know that are in the arts. Happy hour means a few other things too. Some of those we're going to get to here in an hour. So.
Like making some drinks, I understand. Excited for our partnership there with Keeneland and Maker's Mark. Going to be talking to the folks there. And a happy hour box. We're going to talk more about that coming up here in a little bit. A lot of folks are a part of this, some very special friends of the arts.
They really are. We are so blessed this year to have so many wonderful people involved in everything that we do, all the arts organizations, the artists. But this year we've got some special people, our campaign chairs, people that are heading up our efforts this year for the Fun for the Arts campaign to make things happen. I want everyone to say hello to our really good friends, Anthony and Eunice Beatty.
It's great being here for happy hour and to kick off the Lex Arts Campaign Fund. So, Anthony, take it away.
Yeah, we're very happy to be here with us, Amy and Deanne, and certainly all the fans out there in our Lexington community. We're excited about the arts and what's about to happen for the Lex Arts Campaign Fund.
You know, we see the arts in our community in Lexington very similar to culture cuisine. It invites everyone together in a positive way, and the arts become a mosaic for our community. So the arts is important in Lexington, and we hope everyone joins in this week.
Right. And certainly from our perspective, arts are certainly important for every community. They're exciting. They create opportunities for young people, an outlet for creativity, and something that every community must have. They're very vital. And certainly a lot of fun and entertaining for us as citizens. So we ask that you could continue to support the Lex Arts, and especially as this campaign kicks off, be a part of supporting something that's very important to Lexington.
So when you put on something like the Lex Arts Happy Hour, it takes a lot of folks to make something like this happen. Louis Pritchard is with us from Kentucky Bank. Amy Sweetall, you know better than anybody. Folks like Louis and everyone at Kentucky Bank, they just make it possible.
We can't do it without them. We cannot.
Mr. Pritchard, your all's involvement with the arts here in Lexington speaks so highly of what you guys do every day at Kentucky Bank.
Well, we do try to do those kinds of things every day at Kentucky Bank, but this is obviously a very special event for us to be a part of, and we just feel that it's so important to the community here in a multitude of ways. So we're just absolutely proud and pleased to be a part of it.
And so, you know, Kentucky Bank has been with us for many, many years in many, many capacities. They sponsor our teacher's guide, so all those kids are getting all that great information and instruction in the arts, which we just so appreciate. They are one of our pace setters, so the people that come out early and say, we support the arts, we're going to make this happen. Louis, we just can't thank you enough. All of your support means the world to the arts, and it means the world to Lex Arts.
Well, we're like I said earlier, we're just glad to be a part of it, and it's what we should do. It's what a good corporate citizen should do to help its community thrive and be successful. So that's one of the main reasons we want to participate in the fashion that we are.
It takes a lot of different businesses like Kentucky Bank. We know you guys are the main ones on this, but if it weren't for the help and the support of others like you guys, we couldn't have the arts in Lexington. Talk a bit about that and why it's critical for Kentucky Bank to be a part of it.
Well, first of all, good corporate citizens support things like Lex Arts because they are so important to the community. And really, it's more than just Fayette County that is important here because many of the beneficiaries of this are from the region. And we, being a regional bank, feel very importantly about our contribution to things like this. The other part of this for us that's very exciting is that we are merging with a bank out of Louisville called Stockyards Bank. Well, interestingly enough, the chairman of the board of that bank is chairman of the Louisville Funds for the Arts this year. So what a great blend for us to continue on. They sense this importance and how important it is for the community to thrive economically and culturally. So we're just very excited about the whole deal.
Thank you to Kentucky Bank and Stockyards Bank and Trust for helping make LexArts Happy Hour happen. Well, you can't have a happy hour without some fabulous food and drinks. We're pretty excited about this one. A lot of folks pitched in to put these great happy hour boxes together, Amy.
It's been such a blessing. Our happy hour with the arts are truly a happy hour with the arts. Sponsored by Kentucky Bank and Stockyard Banks. We couldn't do it without you. But also look at this box of wonderful food and drink. DeRay and Friends made this beautiful charcuterie plate for us, as well as Maker's Mark and Keeneland have stepped up with these beautiful glasses to make your Keeneland breeze in. All the wonderful things. Pomegranate got us a beautiful little napkin to go with our box, and DecoArt gave us a mask to put in our boxes as well.
Absolutely perfect. All right, well, I understand we're getting ready to get started with Shannon Arvin from Keeneland and our friends Rob Samuels from Maker's Mark in putting together the Keeneland Breeze.
Good evening. Thanks so much for having us.
Hi, everybody. Rob Samuels, 8th generation of the Samuels family involved with producing whiskey here in the Commonwealth of Kentucky. It were my grandparents just over 65 years ago that shared a vision that led to the creation of Maker's Mark. My grandfather was a passionate whiskey maker, a craftsman, and obsessed over flavor. My grandmother created the name, designed the bottle, and wanted to celebrate the handmade values of his handmade whiskey through creating the name and designing the bottles. It makes us very proud that one of the ways we celebrate their legacy is through collaborating with artists, which is why we're so very honored to partner with Keeneland in celebration of LexArts. Okay, down to business. Would ask that each of you please gather all of the ingredients for the Keeneland Breeze, which is Keeneland's signature cocktail. We'll start, of course, with the main ingredient, which is our beloved handmade Maker's Mark bourbon, Cointreau, which is an orange liqueur, and then Ale 8 or a ginger ale.
The first step is to fill your glass with ice.
Minimum 1.25 ounces of Maker's Mark. Feel empowered to top it off a little bit. 1/2 ounce of Cointreau. Fill with Ale 8 or ginger ale.
Next, you add an orange slice, and if you're feeling extra artsy, you can add a zest of the orange peel.
To the arts.
Cheers to the arts.
Thank you. It's so great to be back here today. We've got the greatest panel of the arts organizations today with us for our happy hour. We're joined today by our general operating support partners. Well, there they are. Hello, guys. I'd like to introduce everyone to Neil Chethik. He is at the Carnegie Center for Literacy and Learning. Jeremy Kiesling, who's with the Lexington Children's Theater. Lori Halligan from the Living Arts and Science Center. Amelia Gretsch from the Central Kentucky Youth Orchestras. Allison Kaiser from Lexington Philharmonic. And Lori Houlihan from the Lexington Art League. So great to see everybody. We are so excited. In LexArts speak, these folks represent our general operating support partners. These are really the true pillars of our arts community. These are the organizations that are kind of at the top of their game on making arts happen, engaging with the public, engaging with students, and really all across Lexington to do the wonderful things that arts does. We want to talk to them a little bit today about the seeds that we've been planting for the last year and how we're moving forward in the arts and how these groups are going to help us get back to that full arts engagement, all the faith and belief that we know is just around the corner for the arts. I'll start with Lori Halligan, if we will, from the Living Arts and Science Center. I know personally that LASC has just gone nonstop. There's been, as we say, the pivots. All of these groups took the pivots in the arts a year ago and just kept making things happen. We didn't just sort of curl up and die, did we? We just said, let's make this happen. Let's do what we can to keep the arts going. LeRoy, tell us about what LASC is doing and how we're keeping those kids engaged.
So for us, we told ourselves from the first moment, there is no playbook for a pandemic. So let's just figure out what we can do and what needs are not being met. So for us, we went straight into virtual learning. We did our after school programming into Google Classroom, and we started a YouTube channel to connect parents with art and science resources. We moved from our pre-K art day straight into Facebook Live. And so we actually have found that we've been able to expand our outreach within the COVID pandemic guidelines, because you can find us anywhere online. And we know that there have been folks from out of state that have even tuned in to see some of our programming.
Absolutely. And it has just been really, I think, to so many parents and just people out there to be able to have those options in this very strange time of how we do things. Jeremy Kisling, tell us a little bit about how Children's Theater is really meeting those needs as well.
Yeah, we really see some great opportunities for looking forward as we become an organization that really works to encompass our whole community. We're starting to really reach out to create some new partnerships, and also looking at how we represent our whole community here at Lexington Children's Theater. We're doing a lot of discussions about what is our equity and inclusion procedures here at LCT. So we're looking forward to representing shows that have a wider scope and more invested in our community.
Wow, that's amazing. Investment in the community. You know, sometimes we think about art as just being the pretties, you know, the funds and the pretties out there. But really, as this group knows very well, the arts are an investment in Lexington, in our community. Allison, tell us a little bit about bringing those musicians, those artists, back to work and what that means for Lexington and the Central Kentucky community to have you know, that many people that are just waiting in the wings, ready to bring that beautiful music back.
And I tell you, that feeling, the anticipation of looking forward to coming back to more live performances is one that we are absolutely relishing right now. We pivoted quite strongly to some virtual content and educational programming. And just like Jeremy, we've also made a lot of room to make sure that when we do come back, that we're being more inclusive of the entire community. We're going to be doing some wonderful Lexville in Your Neighborhood concerts again, which we piloted this past fall. We're going to be reintroducing those in the spring and going live to a lot of different audiences all around our community. And we're launching our IDEA Task Force next month, which stands for Inclusion, Diversity, Equity, and Accessibility. And then we're going to get into some really interesting and different collaborations this fall. And we look forward to sharing more of that with everyone. Hopefully come this spring, we are going to be live in the concert hall again with all of our musicians, 65 plus of them, and continuing with our music director and conductor search. So we've got a lot of plans, a lot of different scenarios that we're working on right now, but nothing is going to be more wonderful than experiencing that live music together communally again.
Oh, I so agree. If you're like me, you just hardly can't wait. I am ready. And speaking of spring and summer, Lori, the Lexington Art League kind of owns that spring and summer time frame, and we're just so excited to know what is going on. We know that you've opened the Loudon House Gallery with some exhibits now, currently, where people can come visit now and see just the beautiful art that's up for the Lexington Art League at the Loudon House. But take us through the summer. Where are we headed?
Well, we have a new exhibit opening this Friday that we're really excited about. that we're doing in collaboration with UK Healthcare and Create. And the exhibition, All of the Artists Work in Healthcare, was the one requirement. And we got really some amazing applicants because we're really thinking a lot also about inclusion, accessibility, barriers to participation. And so we have that opening, and we have a couple of pop-up origami exhibits on our second floor we're excited about. And then the big exciting news for spring and summer, I guess, is that we're starting to plan for Woodland Art Fair, which is a huge event we're really thankful is happening. But, we've just had our exhibition schedule moving along since last spring. And this fall, we have the Lexington Camera Club Biennial, which should be an amazing exhibit. What else do we have? We have 5 or 6 solo exhibits coming up, and then we have some outdoor collaborations for events coming up that I'll have to talk about that more in the spring when my collaborators are ready to talk about it.
Sure, of course. Well, it all sounds exciting. And that's just, that's what we're all just kind of waiting around to hear, that good news about what's coming up soon. Neil, you talk about engagement, you talk about where everybody's sort of been over the last year. The Carnegie Center has never stopped. The kids in the learning environment this year, it was so challenging, and the tutors at Carnegie Center have been there every step of the way, all of the good things that you do to help kids move along. But you also get out there with some really amazing events for everybody in the community. Tell us what's happening at the Carnegie Center.
Well, we were very fortunate that teaching the art of writing works really well on Zoom. Basically, you can share your pages and you can read together, and then you can have a very deep conversation about the writing that you're doing. So our programming has actually increased since last year. I think a couple other people mentioned that. We've been a lifeline for about 500 writers from across the state, not just the 300 or so who are here in Lexington, but it's now broadened. And we've also been moved by the Black Lives Matter movement and created this past year an organization called the Kentucky Black Writers Collaborative. We have just had our first event this last week, which was weekend. It was a collaborative. It was an online reading in collaboration with Louisville and the Say Her Name Breonna Taylor event. We were the poets and writers, and a series of them read, and it was just incredibly moving. So we feel like we've spent the year growing, deepening, and also realizing that we are resilient, and we're very much looking forward to going back in a hybrid way so that we can keep the gains that we've made while we continue to use that beautiful building in the middle of Lexington that we are just desperately wanting to get back to.
I hear you. And, there's something about, we hear from people all the time about how the arts has really helped people get through, and I say it all the time, just being able to turn to a place that is, deep inside you and experience the arts in whatever way it is, has just been so meaningful and important for all of us. And so we want to keep that momentum going forward. I can personally say that my heart gets lifted every afternoon that the Central Kentucky Youth Orchestra kids show up at Arts Place for their rehearsals and their shows. They've been doing distance learning and performances, and I get the benefit of being in the building to be able to hear it every time. So you talk about a happy place to be in. That's a happy place to be in. Amelia, tell us what's happening. What's on the horizon for Central Kentucky Youth Orchestras?
Sure. We have been really very lucky to be able to continue safe in-person instruction for our auditioned ensembles at a smaller level, seating distance, masks required, even for our wind and brass players. And we really are looking forward to getting back together in a big ensembles for sure, because there's really nothing like being in the room together and playing an instrument and breathing together and feeling the vibration of music in the room. And we're so lucky to be with students who feel that too, and that have really turned to their instruments and their music and learn during this time to really explore the sounds of their playing and to work creatively and think creatively about how to move forward. So we've been really lucky to be able to actually be in the space with these students and learning in real time and playing in real time. And we just look forward to bringing even more students back together. We have continued our community programs, and specifically our Friends in Music program, which pairs high school mentors with middle school students, transitioned really beautifully online via Zoom. And in fact, we had more high school students participating this year as mentors than ever before, because it was actually an experience for volunteerism that they weren't getting anywhere else, because they couldn't do some in-person volunteering for their school volunteer hours. So we've been really grateful that we've had students turn to that program to get some of those volunteer hours in and to pass along their knowledge and their musical experience to students who might not otherwise have had that opportunity.
Yeah, this group is really, you've all become the standard bearers for that word that I hate now, the pivot. You've all figured out how to make things work, how to keep on keeping on, how to keep people happy, engaged, and really engaging in art. And we as the public, so thank you for all that you do. We are so blessed that you are part of our Lexington community. So thank you to all of you. We really appreciate you coming on and helping us celebrate the arts with our happy hour with the arts.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And now a word from a lady who needs no introduction, Mayor Linda Gorton. Thank you, Mayor Gorton, for all that you and the city of Lexington do for the arts.
Thank you so much, Deanne and Amy. Hello, everyone. I'm Mayor Linda Gorton. My job today is to encourage you to give generously to the Lex Arts Fund for the Arts campaign. We have missed out on a lot this past year, and that definitely includes the arts. Since the coronavirus came into our community, many of the arts events that are treasured traditions in our city have had to go dark. Now that COVID is receding, we can finally see the light at the end of this long, dark tunnel. It's time to start thinking about concerts and gallery shows and dancing and stage productions and the wide variety of arts that are created right here in Lexington for our enjoyment. It's time to remember the hope and inspiration the arts bring to our lives. Art, creative expression, is absolutely essential to our well-being. Donating to Lex Arts, our official local arts council, is an act of faith in our future. A future free of COVID-19, a future full of inspiration. As a city, we have long recognized the importance of the arts to our culture and to our economy. That's why we have made significant investments in the arts as a community. Now it's time for individuals to give generously. Please join me in donating to the Lex Arts Fund for the Arts campaign.
So you know what I love about hosting this happy hour is when you work with folks in the arts, they just make it so much fun. We're stepping things up a notch on this Thursday afternoon. Marcello is with us and Ben from Central Kentucky Youth Orchestras. Marcello, let's start with you. You guys put on so many amazing productions. Anytime I see your name listed in something, I'm like, okay, stand by. We got to focus on the Central Kentucky Youth Orchestras. You all have provided this program for years in Lexington. Talk a bit about that and the students like Ben who have grown up there and hugely benefited from it.
Of course, we're nearing our 75th anniversary, so we've been in the community for a very long time. And I have to say, I'm really thankful to Lex Arts for our continued partnership, but especially today for bringing us together with Ben. As you can imagine, in 75 years, we have put together an incredible alumni base. And that's one of the things we're more proud, and especially about our distinguished alumni. And Ben Sollee is, of course, one of them. So it's great every time we have a chance to reconnect with Ben. And I wanted really to start by asking you, Ben, about your experience in CKYO. When was that? How was it? And your memories about that experience, and especially important, I think, how that impacted your life and your career.
Yeah, absolutely. So I haven't done the math in a while, but I think that I started in the 6th grade playing in the Central Kentucky Youth Orchestra. I played cello and played in the orchestra continuously for 7 years. Almost through my graduation in high school, but then got really busy playing on the road. And I was a work-study student as part of the orchestra, so I would pay for my tuition by hauling stands and setting up for sectionals and things like that, and met a great group of talented, young, passionate artists in that ensemble that have become lifelong friends. And many of them, though they didn't keep playing their instruments, so to speak, went on into the arts world and contributed in lots of different ways. I have a violinist friend who, now runs a major record label, and I have a viola player friend who's now doing sound design for movies. Like the creativity that you learn in the ensemble to be able to just really collaborate with a big group of humans and work together, I think is a really important value to be able to develop.
Ben, I wonder if your parents had any idea when they put you in that Central Kentucky Youth Orchestra's group what you would be doing now. Tell folks what you are doing. You just finished a movie called Land, right?
Yep.
Talk a bit about that and where you are now in your incredible career in the arts.
Well, certainly. I mean, thanks to some really great mentors, and my director at the orchestra at the time was, I guess I went from William Briggs was the director when I was there, and everybody always encouraged me to collaborate and get creative, and so that has turned into a career of touring around the world and playing live shows. But it also has turned into opportunities to compose and create music for movies and TV. And the most recent movie is I did the score for Land, which is Robin Wright's first film that she has directed. Now, she's been in a lot of movies, including one of my favorites as a child, which was Princess Bride. She was the princess, and it was really incredible to collaborate with her, and also challenging because we created the score during a pandemic with all the different teams of people that were there and had to coordinate it, and I did it right here from Kentucky. And I think that the artists that are in Central Kentucky Youth Orchestra, as well as the artists that are here in this community, can really look to a little bit of a brighter future, because doors are breaking down. You don't have to be in LA and you don't have to be in New York to contribute to major productions like this movie, which is now available on wherever you like to stream your movies.
And we got to check that out. We're going to check you out here in just a moment. A special performance from Ben Marcello. When you see students like this, you realize the impact Central Kentucky Youth Orchestras are making on those youngsters.
Absolutely. That's one of the things that we really look to foster, that lifelong impact. And I have to say, I just stumbled across a TED Talk where you spoke. I saw this video, Ben, and I was particularly struck by a few things you said. And you talked about the affection that music develops and the importance of listening. And those, of course, are all great things that we try to cultivate at CKYO. And through music, I guess you can call it care, as you do in your video, or passion, or empathy. But music can do that, and so that's such a precious thing that you can help these young students develop. And I thought also, looking at that video, I think one of the other very important things you mentioned was the connection between music and activism. And so since the time you were at CKYO, as you can imagine, many things have changed, Ben. But one of the things we are really proud of are our community programs. And so I think what you emphasized in that talk was the connection to your community and to the community in general. And that's what we do with our community programs. And so our students actually mentor other young players who don't have, the privilege to take music lessons, and we do that for free. So that's a great program that we do, Friends in Music. And I don't know, I was wondering if you want to mention anything else about that importance of education, Ben, and the connection to your community.
Yeah, certainly. Well, it's really terrific to hear about the mentorship program, because that is a really incredible way to contribute and to teach kids, give them the reference point for where they are in their lives, the privilege that they've experienced to learn and being able to pass that forward. And of course, they learn their craft better by teaching it. But certainly, I think that CKYO is about more than playing in an orchestra or playing an instrument at all. It's about learning how to connect with other humans and build togetherness is what I think of it as, which is an important thing when we think about some of the social and environmental issues that we're facing in the world. Because we can't face them if we're isolated and in little groups and ensembles, or even in siloed off communities. We really need to face them as a people. And while data and science is fantastic for wrapping our minds around problems, around the issues at hand, we need the arts to grow our hearts around these issues. And I call it affection. That's what Wendell Berry, the great Kentucky author, calls it. He says it all turns on affection, because people protect what they care about. And they care about things that they have an intimate knowledge of. And that's where the arts step in. That's where an orchestral piece or an opera or a dance piece can help you appreciate and build affection around an issue for a place that you've never been or a person who you've never met.
Well,
So that's so important.
I have great affection for what we're about to hear. Grab a drink, stand by, because we have a special performance from Ben coming up here on our Lex Arts Happy Hour.
Sometimes I feel like an arrow fighting something somewhere long ago. Whether it moved or I missed where I'm bound, I don't yet know. But if you see me coming, I'll probably pass you by on my way to something somewhere sometime. Sometimes I find myself reeling, yes, listed and rolling in a plastic sea. Yes, it's signs and signals bidding for attention from me. So turn on your city, and I will turn on mine, and we'll hum and glow like something somewhere sometime. Whoa, and if I wounded you, I'm sorry, I had good intentions. And if I wounded you, I'm sorry, Lord. Whoa, 'cause it happens all the time. Yes, you remind me of a reason had by someone so many years ago to send words through wires and build highways from coast to coast. But your words fell short on your roads have worn with time, on our way to something somewhere sometime. Whoa, and if I wounded you, I'm sorry, I had good intentions. And if I wounded you, I'm sorry, Lord. Oh, 'cause it happens all the time. Yes, sometimes I feel like an arrow fighting something somewhere long ago.
Hi, we're we're Ted and Stacy Burge, and we're so excited to be part of the 2021 Lex Arts Fun for the Arts campaign. The arts enhance our lives and bring us joy. They create community and foster diversity. As a family, we love attending shows and performances, and some of our best and most memorable experiences have been with the arts. Our son has a love for theater and acting, and the Lexington Children's Theater gives him a perfect place to exercise that passion.
Yep, like Stacy said, the arts and the artists that Lex Arts supports in normal times bring us together as a community. We get to share things and expand our perspectives. And coming together and sharing things is really one of the things that makes arts so vital. Physically coming together has been pretty much impossible this year. And the restrictions on gathering has taken a severe economic toll on the arts community. So they need our support, your support, now more than ever. A strong arts community makes Lexington a better place to live for our children, for all of us. And art can be like talking to someone who knows things you don't know. It's experiences you don't have, imagine things you can't imagine. And with your help, Lex Arts and its community of artists and organizations will be there to provide those things to us when we can finally get out of the house.
Meet another artist fast making a name for herself in Lexington. Ciara LeRoy, an up-and-coming young designer specializing in lettering, embroidery, and fashion, says that the goal of her work is to unite imagination with everyday life. Here she is to tell you more about it herself.
My name is Ciara LeRoy, and I go by Pretty Strange. COVID has affected my art practice in a number of ways, some good and some bad. At the beginning of the pandemic, I wasn't able to have, the help of friends and art assistants to come help me paint murals because I just wanted to be safe as possible. So I was, being more of a solo worker for a while was kind of hard because it's fun to collaborate on things. And so the pandemic, made me scale back. So with the Black and Williams mural, I did as much research as I could about these two individuals to get a sense of their contributions to the community, why the building is named after them. I was looking for imagery and just the energy and the type of the level of liveliness that the mural should have. My style is very colorful and bold, and so I was trying to identify things in my mind and images in my mind that would go along with that, but also honor their legacy. Once I do the research and figure out the mood of the piece, that's when I start sketching out concepts and layouts. It took about, probably 2 or 3 months to get a total green light to start painting. A lot of people do wonder how I was able to continue to work so much and be so prolific during the pandemic. And a lot of that has to do with the nature of my work. I talk a lot about social justice. And so therefore, when there was all of this renewed interest in the Black Lives Matter movement in the summer of 2020, after the killings of Breonna Taylor and Ahmaud Arbery and George Floyd, I made a piece of art, a piece of embroidery art in response to that, and it blew up and kind of went viral, and I had people emailing me and calling me from around the country wanting to talk to me about it. That is a really unexpected consequence of the pandemic, and really one that I kind of battled with because I'm okay, I've reached this new level of success, and it's bluntly, it's because of Black death in a way, because I made this piece of art about it. But I realized that I deserve this, and that I'm talented, and that I have a lot of important things to say and a lot of important conversations to start and to continue with my work. And so I'm at a place where I am fully embracing it, and I feel very lucky to do what I do and to have the new platform that I have. Think about the think about the things that you did during the pandemic that brought you joy. And I'm guessing that at least one of those things was a creative outlet. We interact with art every single day, even if we don't realize it. So, so working with Lex Arts, helps that seed of hope that art continues to be essential and embraced even throughout a pandemic. The arts are like a respite and a relief in really hard times, and they bring so much joy and happiness. So funding the arts is important because art has served as a reflection of what is going on, like throughout all of history. It's a mirror that is held up to society and to ourselves. I'll just leave it at that.
Hi, I'm Randy Cohen, Vice President at Americans for the Arts, and I'm so excited to be with you today for the launch of Lex Arts' annual campaign for the arts. I believe there is nothing more important than we can be doing in our communities right now than supporting the arts, than being part of this campaign. And here's why. There's a couple major issues facing our communities as we all try to rebound and get to the other side of this pandemic. One, how do we jumpstart the economy? How do we make this economy work for everybody across the entire community? And two, how do we unify our communities? How do we reconnect us? And the arts do both. The arts get us out of our homes. They get us going to the downtown. They get us to different neighborhoods in the community. And every time we go to an arts event, we spend money on meals, parking, maybe some retail, babysitting when we get home. $22.11 per person per event, not even including the cost of admission. The arts are good for local businesses. The arts are kindling for the economy. And the second reason is the arts unify our communities. You know what? They provide shared experiences in public spaces. Nobody cares who you voted for or where you practice your faith. We're all here to see Hamilton together for the third time, or we're all working on this community mural together. And, we're seeing art in arts organizations in different parts of the community. 72% of the American public says the arts unify our communities regardless of age, race, or ethnicity. So I encourage you, plant a seed, be part of this community. Let's support the arts and build a better Lexington for tomorrow. Thanks. Good luck.
Well, hi again. We are just so excited tonight in our happy hour with the arts to have two of the powerhouses here in the arts world right here beside me. I've got Jeremy Kiesling from the Lexington Children's Theater and Whit Whitaker from Lyric Theater. However, also just an amazing performer, actor in our community that many of you know so much and love so much. These two have teamed up recently to do a really exciting project that really captures some history and culture about our Lexington community. Jeremy, tell us all about this project.
Sure. When we ended up going virtual, we wanted to create a storytellers series which features local BIPOC artists and BIPOC stories in our productions. So we were able to work with Frank and Whit on an Isaac Murphy story, I Dedicate This Ride. And so Whit takes about 10 or 12 of the poems and shares them with us through his artistry. So it was a really exciting project.
Well, Whit, you got to share. How was it? Tell us a little bit about it.
Well, the project was amazing. It was really nice to kind of live the life of Isaac Murphy through Frank X. Walker's words. It kind of put you in the position of knowing and feeling what he may have felt during that time, the times of oppression, being an African American in the world of horse racing and jockey, and while there were times to celebrate his accomplishments, you could tell through the words that Frank X. Walker wrote that Isaac Murphy experienced a lot of pain too to get where he was. So.
Absolutely. That intersection between history and culture and arts is so alive right now. I think everybody's kind of tapped into who are we? Where do we come from? What's important in my community? The intersection of history and arts and culture in our community is just so important, and people seem so very excited about all things art and history these days. Tell us about what Isaac Murphy sort of meant to the Lexington tradition.
Well, I think he's historical. He's a part of the Lexington history, part of the Lexington past, but he's also an icon for the future because of what he established, what he achieved during such a time. It allowed those of us who are here now to stand on his shoulders and to look back into the past and see what he has done, and to take his legacy to move forward, so that we don't take any steps backwards, so that we can continue to make the rest of the Lexington community and the world aware of these historical achievements of so many African Americans like Isaac Murphy.
Right, thank you. I agree. And what made the Lexington Children's Theater really put this collaboration together? It's such a beautiful, beautiful way to present this history.
Well, we worked with Frank X. Walker in 2010 when the World Equestrian Horse Games came here, and we developed a play from this book. But one of the things we wanted to do in this moment was, the thing that I really love about Frank's work is he really shows the character of Isaac Murphy, and it really shows the importance of us having strong character, and I think that's a really great message for young people. He got offers to throw races, and he didn't throw races. He got offers to to indulge, and he didn't indulge. He was a really humble man that worked hard, and I think that message is really important today too.
Well, thank you. The Lexington Children's Theater is doing all the right things in this moment and in this time, and we appreciate that, and looking forward to what's coming next.
Hey everybody, this is Larry and Debbie Jones. We're pleased to be here. We're delighted to be co-chair of this year's campaign for Lex Arts Fund for the Arts. You know, everyone knows that a community is only as good as its arts programs, and that's why we think Lex Arts is so very important.
Welcome to Happy Hour with the Arts. I'm Chris Cathers with the Kentucky Arts Council, and I'm delighted to be joining you this evening. Every day in Kentucky, the arts are contributing to a brighter, more prosperous future. As the creative industry grows and thrives, they create a climate that spurs further investments and attracts new employers to the Commonwealth. Employers, families, and tourists overwhelmingly cite quality of life and the availability of cultural attractions in industry as a driving factor in where they choose to live, work, and play. The arts are a critical economic growth driver. In Kentucky, our creative industry adds $4.9 billion to the state's economy. The Kentucky Arts Council appreciates the partnership we have with Amy and the Lex Arts staff. We value the work that you do every day for the arts in the Commonwealth. We wish you the best as you kick off this critical campaign. Cheers.
You see wood, I see art. I am a wood carver, painter, master of 3 chisels, using relief carvings to put my vision into wood and on canvas. I prep, cloak, and chisel my art into wood, releasing its form, capturing stories and tradition. My work reflects the essence of my heritage. Early influences serve as lasting tributes to those pioneers, relatives who came before me, whose celestial guidance continues to sustain me in my spiritual and artistic endeavors.
You have a really interesting story of having played basketball at UK, and you learned art along the way, but how has art become such an important part of your life?
Ever since I've been a kid, you know, art has always been a passion for me. I've always loved wood. It's always been my first love. I mean, I've always created ever since I was younger. But when I was playing basketball, those years kind of took away a little bit because I was concentrating more on basketball. And then once I was done, then I really got my passion back and get into the art.
Can you tell us a little bit about how you started carving, where that inspiration came from?
My great uncle was a wood carver, and my brother, he taught my brother taught me. And so when I was a kid, he would make cars, he'd make toys. I mean, he would make everything. He never bought anything, he always made it. I always liked what he made because it seemed like, you know, he put his spirit and his soul into it. And when you carve, you actually can, you know, put your spirit and your soul into the wood. And I think that's why a lot of people are attracted to it. So it's kind of been like a family tradition. It's an African-American tradition, a tradition for people all around the world to carve. And what's happening, and one reason why I like to keep it going is because a lot of people now are not carving anymore. A lot of people, they buy stuff. The wood is living. It's just so much, you know. I don't know how to explain it, but I'm really attracted to wood. I always have been ever since I was a little kid.
Can you tell us a little bit more about how your art evolved during this period and how it helped you to keep focused and stay productive?
I started thinking about, you know, the good things, you know, start remembering the good things that happened. So I created some of these pieces, you know, like this one's called Hope, Joy, Trust. And the ladies, the guardian figures, is out of the Southern tradition in Florida of good luck pieces. I've never lived in a home where I didn't have one of these figures. My grandmother, she really believed in good luck and good spirit and always having hope and joy around you. And so she always had sculptures around the house. So I just carried on the tradition. When the pandemic first started, there were so many mixed messages. People were, you know, saying this, people were saying that. You know, you had people who were, you know, against each other and then for each other. And so I had to find a medium of happiness somewhere. So some of the works you'll see was when I was really frustrated, and then some of the works you'll see when I was really hopeful, and then some of the works you'll see when I, you know, was really joyful. And so I was going through a lot of different emotions. And then finally, you know, I came to a place to where it was happy, but I think a lot of it was due with it being dark outside. The worst part of the year for me is October because it's so dark. And so that's why my work was really heavy. So when I looked at it, I said, you know, all the dark October work I put away, and I didn't bring it back out. As it got lighter and lighter, I started to feel better and better and better and more hopeful. So that's why you'll see like the superheroes that came out. It was like you needed something positive in the world. And so to me, as a kid, and even as an adult, I always remember Superman, Batman, and all these figures, you know, being positive figures, you know, that everybody could gravitate to. They kind of had like a unity to them, no matter who or where you're from. And so that was what I was thinking about when I was doing it. And the one figure, Superman, you'll see the people, and you'll see the sun, and you'll see a heart there, which represents, you know, Superman coming in, swooping in, saving people, kind of turning the world back right again. So it was like, my take was, they needed help. Everybody, the government needed help, everybody needed help.
I think it's neat how these kind of relate to your Guardian series too. So, you know, there's superheroes and guardians kind of go together, that they're to help protect us, and we need some protection right now.
Yeah, yeah. That's what the whole series was about. You know, not being so dark and, you know, thinking about, you know, having good thoughts. They're especially important right now because it records, you know, what's happening in society. And I think when you have a pandemic or you have this situation we're in now, I think artists become more creative. I've seen a lot of fantastic work. It's just important because it also, it gives you hope, it gives you joy. And I wish more people were involved in the arts.
So LaVon, what do you hope people take away from this exhibition?
You know, I hope they take away joy, peace, and I hope take away understanding of my experience going through the pandemic. All the phases I went through, the ups, the downs, the depression, to the joy. And I hope when they come in and they experience it, they find a welcome, a joy, and a peace in my pain and in my pleasure, in my joy, is what I hope they take away from it.
Welcome back. We are so happy now to be joined by Allison Kaiser from the Lexington Philharmonic. This is an organization that has made some pivots. We had a lot of big things happening about a year ago with the Lexington Philharmonic, And Allison's going to catch us up to speed. Where have we been and where are we going? Hi, Allison.
Hi, Amy. Thanks so much for having me. Well, we've been doing, yes, a lot of pivoting. And I have to say that we have a staff that has proved to be so creative and so nimble, and a community that has been so beautifully responsive to all the new and different things that we've been trying during the period of the pandemic. But as everybody knows, one of the things that was put on hold during the pandemic was our music director and conductor search. So when we had to stop all performances due to COVID, we had to cancel our April and May concerts, where our last two conductor candidates were going to be joining us for the week in our community and to do their on-stage conducting of the orchestra. So without knowing when we might be able to get back to the same kind of live performance that we enjoyed pre-pandemic, we put our search on hold. But it didn't, what we knew we had to do was we needed some guidance for all of the different artistic programming and new ways of delivering orchestral music. We needed some guidance from someone who really had that level of expertise. So we embarked on a interim artistic advisor search. And we looked across the country. We looked at our candidates that had auditioned already for the music director and conductor search. And we landed on Kelly Corcoran because she embodied a lot of the characteristics that we knew we needed during this very different time of delivering orchestral music. So Kelly brings with her just a wealth of experience, and some of the things that we were looking for specifically for this period were individuals who have had some deep experience with managing small ensembles, because that's the majority of what we knew we would be able to do at the time, and also new music and a lot of thinking and experience working with very diverse, different artistic partners. So Kelly brought all of that, and she is geographically close to us. She is located in Nashville. So when we get to the point where we've all been vaccinated and when we are able to resume small ensemble and live performance work, we're really looking forward to Kelly coming and visiting us here in the community while she's filling the term of interim artistic advisor. So she will be planning all kinds of just really exciting and some very different collaborations that we're launching this spring and summer. Also, we'll be doing Lexville in Your Neighborhood again, but we're also going to be doing a very significant collaboration with Divine Karama. And so we're in the process right now of working through that collaboration and bringing in a music arranger to help us work on some of those programs. And also, when we get into the summer, we'll be doing Picnic with the Pops again. So that is all wonderful, safe ways of enjoying live orchestral music. Kelly will also be putting together our the kind of concerts that people have always associated the Lexington Philharmonic with, which is those produced and presented in a concert hall. So we look forward to getting back into the Singletary Center after the new year and doing some of the programming that people love and have loved for 61 years with this organization. Large scale concert programs that will also feature, we hope, those remaining conductor candidates for our music director and conductor search.
Allison, that is just so exciting. I just, hearing you talk about all of the different ways that the Lexington Philharmonic is going to be out there, accessible to everyone in many different ways, is just what we're hoping to see in the arts. We're wanting all of our arts organizations to just think outside the box and find those really wonderful ways to get right back into the community and have everybody engaged. I'm looking forward to it. I can tell you that. It is soon to be here, and we are super excited that Lexington Philharmonic is right there with us, making it all happen. So thank you.
Thank you, Amy. We really look forward to seeing people live again as soon as this spring in many different locations across our community. And we thank everyone for their generosity and their willingness to go along with us in some of these experiments that we're doing, because we've learned so much, and it's been so much fun learning all these different ways to reach the community and engage with the community. And we look forward to bringing all of that back full bore as we get into warmer weather and this spring, summer, and fall.
I'll be there. Sign me up.
We'll see you then.
Hi, I'm Kelly Corcoran. I'm the Interim Artistic Advisor for the Lexington Philharmonic. As Interim Artistic Advisor, I will be helping to curate the artistic path over the next year, aligning with the Lexphil values of artistic excellence, innovation, collaboration, and accessibility. I will be working collaboratively designing programs, building artistic partnerships, and selecting the repertoire that we will be performing. I had the opportunity to come and perform with the orchestra and conduct the orchestra in November of 2019, pre-pandemic, and just had a wonderful time while I was in Lexington, getting to know the arts community, meeting lots of partners and colleagues and wonderful supporters of the arts. And I'm thrilled to be back in this capacity, working with the Lexington community again. And I look forward to getting to know all of you over the next year and working together collaboratively to continue the vibrant arts programming that is so beloved in Lexington.
Afternoon and welcome to the campaign launch. We've been waiting for this day for quite some time, and it's especially fun because the arts are one of the most significant programs that we have throughout our entire community. It's our backbone. When we're out at Commerce Lexington recruiting or working with local companies to expand, they want to know a number of factors, and one that they want to know, if they don't already know about, is how lively our arts are, how real they are, how many people in our community get involved and support. And quite frankly, we just had a national leader on here the other day talking with us about how significant the arts industry. It's an $800+ billion industry. It's 4.5% of our gross national product. And most people, when they think of the arts, they think of very creative individuals, but it's that and so much more. There's a business side to it, but also there's a side that helps us make Lexington, Central Kentucky, one of the most revered, loved, beautiful regions of the world.
And the arts are important to me personally on many levels. Personally, I am an artist myself, so I've benefited from the local arts community and the high level of activity in which Lex Arts tries to get its artists involved, and at the ground level especially. Also, I've been involved in Central Kentucky Youth Orchestra as a board member, so I've seen how the arts impact our youth at so many different levels, through music and through introducing music to children who might never have opportunities in our community, to level the playing field for these children and to give them skills that they might never have an opportunity to have in their lives, and to use those skills to build on their futures, not only for themselves, but for our community, so that they actually become better than they can be without the support of the arts. Also, our children have benefited so much from the arts in this community and learned the skills that I'm talking about because we had the means to give that to them. And we were so thrilled when we came here to see that the arts were alive, as Bob said.
And thriving. So our kids started playing violin at the age of 4 and went all the way up through playing for Central Kentucky Youth Orchestra. Were involved through the public schools as well in many state competitions. Ultimately, all 3 played for the University of Kentucky Orchestra, and it's one of the best in the world. So we've been able to see the advantages and the benefits of the arts But there's so much more that LexArts funds. The Carnegie Center for Literacy and Learning, Lexington Art League, the Lexington Children's Theater, Lexington Philharmonic, the Lexington Arts and Science Center. There are so many different ways that from an artistic standpoint, we help our kids to grow, as Julie pointed out, to build their minds, to become creative, become innovative. But let me tell you, when we're trying to figure out the community, how best to make it grow and to improve the quality of life, it oftentimes centers around the arts.
And our dog is trying to make music too.
Well, the Kentucky Ballet Theater is one of those organizations that benefits greatly from LexArts. Norbe is with us, and Bridget from the Kentucky Ballet Theater. Thank you all for being with us. Bridget, Kentucky Ballet Theater, talk about what you guys do there and how you benefit from LexArts.
We've been a partner with LexArts for many, many years, and we have enjoyed that relationship. When they have an event or something that they need, dance or ballet, we jump in and enjoy that. And so, like every arts organization in Lexington, we all benefit from a large group of people that are totally committed to arts.
And Norbe, your productions there with the Kentucky Ballet Theater are just off the charts. Talk a bit about those and how LexArts helps make those possible.
Well, first of all, we want to thank LexArts because it's a crucial part in the arts in the state of Kentucky, keeping the arts organizations alive and thriving. And, you know, thanks to that, we have put small clips of the production that we've done in the past, and like The Little Mermaid, The Nutcracker, Dracula, The Wizard of Oz. We broke the ice, you know, I know since the pandemic started, we closed the company in March last year, but we went back in October and performed, and you know, it was great to be back on stage.
Let's take a look at that clip. Some incredible productions from the Kentucky Ballet Theater. Norbe, you guys have had quite the challenge this year, as have many others in the arts. Talk a bit about that with COVID and what you've been able to do.
Well, in October, we were able to perform back on the Moondance Amphitheater. That it was the first performance since we closed in March last year. And we are planning to keep going forward. And this upcoming season, we are planning to be back at the Lexington Opera House in May, December, and then March, and then in May of 2022. So we having plans to go back again and retake what it was taken from us from the pandemic. We're not going to give up ever.
No, I don't think anybody is. Bridget, we're ready for 2021 and everything that Lex Arts has to offer to the Kentucky Ballet.
We really are, and we've been just, inching along like everybody else, and, our dancers are itching to go. And like he said, outside at the amphitheater, we kind of were thinking outside the box, and it was a wonderful production, and we had good attendance in October, and it didn't rain.
Well, thank you to the Kentucky Ballet Theater for being a partner with Lex Arts.
Thank you to our 2021 pace setters, those corporations and individuals making a strong financial commitment early on who set the pace for the campaign. At the platinum level, the Murray Foundation, Toyota Motor Manufacturing in Kentucky, Visit Lex. Gold level, Baird, Central Bank, Community Trust Bank, Fifth Third Bank, Keeneland, Maker's Mark, Mount Brilliant Family Foundation, PNC Bank, Red Mile. And at the silver level, Alltech, Bluegrass Sotheby's International Realty, Becky Reinhold, Collar Properties, CHI St. Joseph Health, Davis and Ploman, Kentucky Employers Mutual Insurance, Kentucky Bank and Stockyards Bank, Solomon and Company, Valvoline, Jim Gray, Austin Mayer and Jill Hall, Madonna and Craig Turner, Dr. and Mrs. J. Sloan Warner, Jr. Thank you to our media and technology partners, WKYT, MSI Productions, Red Barn Radio.
Well, cheers to a fabulous Lex Arts happy hour, Amy Sweetall. Man, it is fabulous to see all of these partners that you guys work with on a daily basis. It's a treat for us to see everything you do with Lex Arts.
No kidding. And thank you to WKYT and you, Deanne, for being here with us and making all this happen. We have lots of people to thank right now, but thank all of you so much for joining with us and finding out what we're all about here at Lex Arts.
And now is the time, my friends. Go online and make that donation at lexarts.org. Cheers to Lex Arts Happy Hour.